Hey, welcome back to what might possibly be my last poker blog. All right, listen, bucko. I haven't played poker in a calendar month. 30 fucking days! That was for dramatic effect. So you might be wondering, Corey, why are you being a dramatic little, what's going on? Well, you see, I went to Los Angeles last month and got absolutely railed. I got railed. I haven't made one of these videos in so long. I have a lot to talk about. I signed up for Boston Billiards 251312. Literally, I'm gonna walk in and whatever they give me, I'm gonna be cool with. We're gonna go play poker. I have a lot to talk about. I'm gonna go to the car, get some money. I'll see you in a bit. Give me a second. This is my bedroom. I was bedridden for 2 weeks because I had the flu, so this was quite the common sight for me. Look at these raggedy-ass Vans. I've had these since high school. That's a lie. I actually got these in 2019 after I graduated. The backstory behind these, back in 2019, I was going on a cruise to Mexico with my buddy, and I didn't have any shoes to wear, so I was like, oh, I need to get something cool and fashionable. So I went to the nearest mall, got Vans because they were cheap, $40. I was like, yeah, these are hip and cool. Let's dive deep into the details, shall we? Why the hell am I quitting Texas Hold'em poker? Texas Hold'em is an emotional roller coaster. For the past 5 sessions that I walk into a poker room, I feel like a puppy waiting to be euthanized. It's been horrible. I'm like a 70% favorite in a $10,000 pot. We run it twice, and the guy wins both. And I'm like, okay, yep, fuck me. That's cool. I just have no desire to play the game, and I might actually quit. I might actually just stop playing altogether because it's really difficult to play poker as a job because the swings that you endure are actually quite emotionally taxing, and I don't know if I want to do this long term. I'm going to think about it, but that's why I haven't posted any videos in the past 30 days because I don't know if I'm going to do this. So this is perhaps the last episode. This whole extended intro thing I'm doing just this is actually kind of a last hurrah. So just sit with me and let's just enjoy this ride together because I don't fucking know if there's going to be another one. I think poker's a lot more difficult than people assume. Going up 10,000 feels pretty damn good. You're like, oh my God, I can buy a Buick. And then 2 days later, the poker gods are like, psych, bitch, you're down 8K this month. And you're like, I think one of the biggest challenges as a poker player is adapting to stakes. I remember back when I was playing 1-2, I had pocket aces all in versus pocket deuces, the little duckies, for $90, and the flop came something duck, and I was like, fuck! For a week I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about that hand and how I was never playing Texas Hold'em again in my life. Fast forward 6 months, I was playing regularly, and fast forward a year from that, I went to Las Vegas for the first time, which is actually around vlog 10 on my channel. Anyways, one night that I didn't upload, I lost $3,000, went outside and cried. And fast forward 6 months later, I went to Los Angeles, shot took 5, 10, 20, and I ended up losing $9,000 around somewhere like that. It's pain, dude. It actually hurts a lot. Well, it's been a full month since it's been at least nearly 2 months since I've been here. Also, another big issue is there's not really any games running in New Hampshire, at least 2-5 and up. And whenever they do run, they're normally at a casino where I can't film openly. So it's like, I don't know, dude, but we're at Boston Billiards, so let's go play some poker. I might play like an absolute nit. If I lose 3 bullets, $3,000, this will be the last upload, and you will never hear from me again. Let's go inside and not dust my entire... Let's just win some money, dude. Oh my God, I'm an absolute donkey. I forgot my tripod stand to record the actual hands, dude. This is gonna be a very ghetto vlog, but I'm gonna use my chips as the stand because I forgot I'm gonna use poker chips to hold up my camera. This is gonna look absolutely ghetto. I forgot my actual phone in my car again. I'm a mess. I got seated at 1-3, and here's a little behind the scenes. I bought it for $500, and $200 of that was used to support my phone. Hypothetically, if I go all in, my phone's just going to lay flat on the table, and it's going to be a very awkward situation, and it may or may not happen in this video. Let's get into the hands. In the first hand of the night, we looked down at Jack Knight of Diamonds under the gun. We raised to $15. The cutoff calls, and so does the small blind. Going three ways to a flop of Queen, Queen 5 with 2 diamonds. We have 4 of the same suit. That's what the cool kids refer to as a flush draw. This is also a pretty dry board. I don't think my opponents are going to connect too often. So when the small blind checks, I put out a c-bet of $15. The cutoff calls, and the small blind gets out of the way. Going heads up to a turn card, which peels off the 10 of clubs. When the cutoff calls the flop, I think he's going to have a lot of middling pairs like 6s, 7s, 8s, and this is another overcard to all of those holdings, so pretty uncomfortable facing another bet. He has like 300 behind, so I'm planning on betting here, and I think we have a perfect candidate to jam the river. So I fire another shot in the middle, planning to unload the chamber on the river, but it does not come to that, as the opponent decides to let it go. Always nice to take down the first pot of the night. Next, we look down at pocket 8s in the low jack. I raised to $15. The small blind and big blind make the call. Flop comes King 5-4 with 2 diamonds and a heart. When action checks to me, there's a card that's bigger than my pair, and none of these are even my color. Feel like we have the easiest check in the world, so I tap the table, and we all witness a free turn card, which peels off the 4 of hearts. The small blind checks again, but this time the big blind bets. $15. Considering there's 2 flush draws on board, and he could even be betting for protection with smaller pocket pairs like 6s or 7s, I think we have a straightforward call. The small blind puts in the chips as well, so still going 3 ways to a river, which peels off the 10 of spades. This time, the small blind and big blind both check it over to me. I don't think we can get any value from worse, and I don't want to turn this hand into a bluff. We have plenty of showdown. We might just beat both of these guys who have missed flush draw. Once again, pretty clear decision. I check, and both players announce ace high. That we can beat, so all of the chips are going to come to moi. Next, I run drier than the Sahara Desert for like 3 centuries. When I'm hungry and card dead, I get hangry. Around this time, I got called for the 2-5 table. I moved my chips over, decided to get up, go to McDonald's to get 3 hamburgers, and that was my dinner. I removed the bottom bun because it's just extra calories that don't really make sense to have. So if you're like into fitness or you're just a fat fuck looking to lose some weight, take off the bottom brioche bun, brother. It's not really, that saves you like 270 calories. Anyways, let's get back to the hands. So we're sitting down at 2-5, down around 150. We look down at King 9 offsuit in the straddle. The small blind raises to $35, and the big blind makes the call. I think this hand serves best as a call in position, but there's dead money out there, and I think the small blind raises a bit too loose in these situations. So I decided to raise it up. 175 is the price of poker. The small blind decides to make the call, and the big blind gets out of the way. Going off to a flop of absolute squat. The small blind checks, and I'm just going to bet small like I have something. The small blind looks at my stupid young face and doesn't buy it for a second. He makes the call, and we go off to a turn card, which peels off the 2 of diamonds. The small blind checks it over to me once again. My brother in Christ, we have 0 pair, 0 diamond. This is poker, not football. No need to punt. I'm going to check it right back. We go off to see one last card, which peels off the king of clubs. Christ from the heavens above delivers us top pair and bails us out of a very bad situation. The small blind checks it over to me a 3rd time. This is the decision point in the hand. Do you bet for value or do you check it back? I don't think he's going to have a jack or a flush at that high of a frequency. Could he possibly? Sure, but if we run into it, I think I'm okay with it. I think what's more likely is he has a middling pocket pair, like 5s through 10s, perhaps even pocket queens that slow played in this manner. Now it's just a matter of can we get called by these holdings? And I think the answer is yes.
My opponent's a thinking player, and I'm sure he recognizes that this king is good for my range, but that doesn't necessarily mean I have anything. In terms of sizing, I thought about betting a third, but the more I thought about it, I think more hands can do that, like pocket aces, ace king, and if I jam, I should theoretically have less hands that I'm doing it for value with. So it's more polarizing, and I think he's actually more inclined to call with those lower pocket pairs if I jam, rather than if I bet small. I don't know, dog. This is kind of thin, but Mariano likes to go for thin value, and that guy's a fucking beast, so I'm going to pull the trigger. We evade the snap call, so thank God for that. The small blind asks for a count, and I'm using my chips to hold up my phone. I push my chips to the middle of the fount, and my phone goes smack straight to the table. I pick it up, and I'm holding it with my other hand. The dealer counts out my chips, and I have one singular dollar under 700. The small blind thinks for a while, and he's probably like, this prepubescent teen can't possibly... How did you even get in this casino, kid? You're like 12 years old. The fact that you're in here is actually illegal. There's no shot that you're jamming a hand for value here. I call. I flip it over, and he's like, wow, okay, that's good. He probably had like pocket eights or pocket nines. I think it's a good call by him because I will have a lot of bluffs here. Unfortunate for him that I just happened to get lucky and hit a king. Next, we have pocket fives on the button. The low jack opens to 35. The cutoff, myself, and the small blind make the call. Going 87 ways to a flop of 6-3-3 rainbow. Action quickly checks to me. On a board like this, I think we're going to have the best hand a decent amount of the time, but nearly every turn card in the deck is bad for us. I think it's worth betting small as protection, just trying to eliminate hands like 9-8, 10-9, literally every overcard in the deck, which happens to be like 90%. So I toss out $40. The small blind calls, and the original raiser comes along as well. Going off to a turn card, which peels off the 8 of hearts. Action quickly checks to me once again. Don't really think I'm going to get value from worse. Don't want to turn my hand into a bluff. That leaves one simple option of checking it back. We go off to witness one more card, which peels off the 6 of clubs. Now the small blind leads for $125. The original raiser folds, and I think it's nearly impossible to find a bluff here. We double block his only bluff that makes sense, 5-4. If he was bluffing, he'd have to bet into 2 people on the river, and he also called flop with 2 people left to... I don't know, brother. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. This feels like 7-6, maybe A6. Both of those happen to be a motor vehicle, and I have measly 5s. Seeing that it's nearly impossible to find a realistic bluff, I decided to let it go, and he is going to win this one. A singular orbit later, we pick up 5-4 of clubs on the button. I open to $30, and only the big blind makes the call. Going off to a flop of King Jack 7 with 2 clubs. He checks, I bet small, and he check raises to $75. Against this player, in hindsight, he's pretty tight. I honestly think I could just fold here because we're losing to bigger flush draws, and if we're up against 2 pair or a set of 7s, we're just not doing that good. Even if I make a flush against those hands, I don't think I'm making all that much money, so I really don't hate folding on the flop, honestly. As played, I'm sure you can guess where this goes. I make the call, and we go off to a turn card, which peels off the 4 of hearts. The big blind now bets $150. Oh, God. Well, we pick up a pair. Now we're beating all of his higher flush draws and hands like Queen 10. But I don't know if he ever check raises hands like Queen 10. I think he just check calls. That's the issue with like calling flop against players like this. Whatever, dude. Got to see it through now, my boy. I make the call, and we go off to see one last card, which peels off the 6 of spades. 6 of clubs. We make a flush. I literally have no eyeballs. The big blind bets once again for $350. Oh, God. This just never feels like a bluff. I don't think I've ever seen this player bluff once in his life. This guy was birthed from his mother's womb like 27 years ago, was spoon-fed applesauce, went through kindergarten, grade school, got a job, applied to college. All of this shit in 27 years of existence. And not once did the thought of bluffing in a poker game ever cross his mind. I just don't see him ever bluffing here, dude. I don't think it's even possible. That's the issue. I think I should just fold flop against this guy and make my world so much easier. Ah, God. Just never folding a flush is played. Let's just pray to God that he has a hand like Queen 10 or a set of sevens. He's going for thin value. No, of course not. He has King 9 of clubs, and we lose to a higher flush. Fuck! Next interesting spot, we have Ace-King offsuit in the straddle. 4 players limp to me. The dealer took his hand and brushed in my chips, and I was like, whoa, 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 I'm the straddle, my man. He's like, my bad, dog. Do what you want to do. And I was like, yes, sir. I raise it up to $100. This might seem like a huge raise, but there's $50 of dead money out there. If everyone folds, I really don't care. Plus, if I make it like 60, everyone's just going to call, and I don't want to go 4 ways in middle position with ace. I don't know. We make it $100. The first limper folds, the button makes the call, small blind folds, and the big blind makes the call. Going 3 ways to a flop of Jack 10-4 with 2 diamonds. Obviously not ideal. We have ace high, but we could have some strong hands here. I think our hand could go either way between bet or check. In this instance, I decide to bet small, and we hear the only 2 words that I don't want to hear. The button goes all in, shoves it straight in my mouth. The big blind folds, and action is back on me. In this hand, I actually had David K. Poker in my ear.
Well, when we bet here, I think we have to call off, so we're going to be all in here.
We obviously don't love it, but with so much money in the middle, he only has like 350. If he has any jack, an ace, king, or queen are still all live. That's 10 outs. And if he has a flush draw, we could possibly be ahead. So we really hate this spot, but mathematically, I think we're supposed to call. I tap my chest, throw a prayer up to the rafters for 1 time, stick in the call, and let's see a run out. We don't improve, so I'm hating my life. But the button seems to hate life as well, as neither of us really want to turn over our cards. After like 5 seconds of awkward silence, the button just says, you win, dog. He announces 8 high, so I just flip it over, and we end up winning against what I can only imagine is a flush draw. Shortly after, we pick up pocket 10s in the straddle. The button and small blind limp. I raise to $60. The button calls, and now the small blind puts in a back raise to $325. That's quite odd. I don't think this guy has a strong hand here, ever. I think if he had pocket jacks plus, he would just raise himself, especially when there's only 2 players left to act. I think it's actually more likely that he has a hand like pocket 3s or pocket 4s, and he's hoping to take it down now, or perhaps just flip against a hand like ace-king or ace-queen. So I think I'm way ahead. I'm jumping for joy. I'm loving life. I decide to press the big red button that says all in. The button gets out of the way, and the small blind snap calls for $350 more. We go off to a run out, and the flop is beautiful. Ace, king, 6. Love it. That's great. The turn is even better. It's a jack. So now we lose to literally any overcard under the sun. And he was like, do you have ace king? And I was like, nope, I have pocket 10s. And he was like, fuck, that's very good. Once again, we win on perhaps the ugliest board known to pocket 10s. But again, I think we were way ahead of a smaller pair. Pretty fortunate situation. Once again, taking down quite a significant pot. We played all the way until 2 in the morning, but around this time, we ended up racking up and calling it quits. Actually, I didn't call it quits. The casino literally closed down at 2 and said, guys, you need to get the fuck out. Go home. And we're like, okay, sorry. And we all left. I never got to film an outro. It's around a week later. I haven't played since, but we were in for this, out for that. You know, with all of this talk, you'd think I'm actually losing this year. And you'd think I'm a losing player. I won $21,000 last year, but my graph looks like this. And I'm up 3.6K this year, but my graph looks like this. The nature of poker is swing. I don't want to say that this is the last vlog that I will ever record, but I'm I don't know, man. I don't know what the future holds. I'm going to figure it out. I will obviously keep you guys updated. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate the support from the beginning till now. And we'll see where things go. Peace out.